Welcome to second years in your English class with the next fresh lesson of your syllabus to serve with love. Before starting that one, let me give you a quick introduction of the writer, or you can say the person who is behind this autobiographical novel. He is Edward Ricardo Braithwaite. He was born in 1912 and died in the year 2016. He was born in South America. North America, South America, there is a difference into even the colors of the population as well as the living conditions of the population. But he belongs to a normal good family where he had a very happy childhood days. Happy childhood means a secure childhood with no complexes of no psychological disorders. Okay, no complexes and no psychological disorders, no mentally depressed people, nothing. If they have a happy childhood, obviously they would like to live a good adult life as well. And he became later on a novelist, a teacher and a diplomat. He wrote actually many novels. Later on he became a teacher. First he was a diplomat. During the times of Second World War, he has been given a chance to become a pilot for the Royal Air Force. He actually, like you can imagine it out that how multifaceted personality he was. Like he has just these two and this one. It's quite separate, or you can say a different type of the professions. They are not matching to each other. But still he has that capacity in himself that he can do many things. He has the potential. So he became the pilot during the Second World War to help the country and and actually became the pilot for the Royal Air Force. That means he fought from the side of the winners, or you can say British and American side. He fought the war. But after that, what happened that he didn't get the job after the Second World War because there was a shortage of the jobs, scarcity of food. Because if a war happens, here we are talking about Second World War, even though if any war would happen, it affects both the people, both the sides, either the winner or the losers. The losers always, obviously, in a difficult situations, they suffer a lot, but the winners also have to suffer because they too have to undergo some pressure. For the war, they have to spend the whole resources, whatever they have at the backside of them, they have to spend complete resources. And sometimes it happens that after the war ends, the people have to suffer a lot, not only for the jobs and all, scarcity of food would be there, even the living places and all, because some damage would be done to the winners as well. So here he was not getting the job. He tried his level best. He has the highest qualification at those times, but what is the need of the qualification if you can't able to get the job? So because if you can see it out that he was a pilot, that means he could have honorary some pension or something for him, but nobody has given, even though he belongs to the winner side, nobody has given him any pension or any type of the special awards or something. So he, after the qualification, having higher qualification and everything, he thought that he should go for a different strata of the job, or you can say different level of the job. He was a black man. Recently you have heard about in America when a black person has been died by a white policeman. Actually he got suffocated and he died, and after that the population of America, the overall population, we cannot judge it out by their colors, because many of the white people have also participated in the agitation for Black Lives Matter. That means that is the hashtag, that is the slogan they have given as Black Lives Matter. So many of the black people in those times, especially during the Second World War time or after that, they were not in a good conditions. They would be always discriminated, either for giving the jobs or for at the living places and all. They were in the minority, especially in America and UK side. UK means England side. So they would have to face lot of difficulties. So being a black man, he didn't get the job, and it was sometimes he has to remain human in inhuman circumstances. He has to maintain his humanity, he has to maintain his own manners, etiquettes in inhuman circumstances. Inhuman means the way the other people behave. Normally they hurt the other sentiments by, if you are pinpointing the other for their complexion or for their height, for their any of the body type or anything, that means you are hurting the other person. You are not only hurting also the sentiments, but you are also blaming the creator, because it is the creator who has created varieties of the people in different shades, in different you can say faces, features, everything is different of all the people. So that shows that we have to be human in all the circumstances. So when he got hurt, when he get the discrimination done by the people also, he never left his attitude of being human towards the other people. So this is that he always behaved like a human in inhuman circumstances. And because he was not getting the job and all, he thought he should try his hand at the job for the teacher. So he has taken up the job of the teacher, and that was, he said, one of the most wonderful experience among the other professions. He found the teaching as one of the most wonderful experience, and later on he wrote one autobiography. Autobiography means the person who has written, the person himself have to write down about his own life. That is autobiography. Only biography means the other person is writing the history, life history of the other person. But here the same person is writing his own life history, that is known as the autobiography. So in autobiographical novel To Serve with Love, he wrote his experiences, how he behaved or how he managed the students, what are the difficulties he faced. So it is one of the best known novel, and even in America also they made a picture on this, and here also they tried a little bit, in India also they tried a little bit version of that particular novel, not the exact one, but they tried to make it out. So that was actually, you can say, it has become one of the very famous novel, because many times I said that in my classes, like every human have the same emotions. Either you belong to any era, that is means from you are belonging to the past or the present, or you are going to be in the future. Every person has the same feelings, same emotions. We have to understand that how to handle those. And every teacher gets some experiences in their life that they will never forget it out. Like if suppose any of you would have the aim to become a teacher, then you would have to develop a lot of patience, a lot of humbleness in you, then only you can become a teacher. So he said that how a teacher has handled the students, he has mentioned in this autobiography, and that's why it has become famous, because many people had felt it is their own life, it is their own experience. And to his one more feather in his cap, it was that he held positions, many different positions he has taken up in UNO, United Nations Organization, where different meetings of the different countries, especially related to peace, related to World Health Organization is also a part of that UNO, IMF is a part of UNO. That means he held several positions, means it is not such an ordinary person. He was an extraordinary person with extraordinary qualification, but he still wants to become a teacher. Teaching itself is a passion. If you have the passion, you can become a good teacher. So now he is asking us different questions for that. Which is your favorite teacher? When I am asking this question, or when you are seeing this video, immediately you get the image of your favorite teacher into your mind, either favorite teacher or favorite sir, from your school, from your college, wherever it may be, or from your tuitions, institutes, wherever you have joined. You must have seen one or the other teacher. You don't like all the teachers alike. One or the other teacher touches your heart. So the teacher who touches your heart and then go to your head, that is your most favorite teacher. If I'll ask you that, do you love the teacher because of how they look? how he or she looks? No, that is not the criteria to like the teacher, to love the teacher. You like the teacher, you love the teacher because they understand you, they talk politely to you, and normally they touch the hearts of the students. So here he is saying that the favorite teacher, if you want to become a favorite teacher, you first have to touch the heart and then go to the head. Command on subject is important, but not so important that you only love the command of the subject, the person who has the command on the subject. If a teacher is totally brilliant, intelligent, and you can say updated in her or his subject, but they scold you very badly, you don't have the guts to get up and ask the doubt, because you know that they may get irritated, they may scold you in the whole class. And now in your age, especially this is the very tender age, adolescent age, in this age you don't want to get insulted among your friends. You have a feeling that if suppose somebody would say something to me, if a teacher can stare you 2 seconds more than others, you will get a feeling of uneasiness, and you will start thinking, why she is looking at me, what I have done, she is always doing like this to me, she only behaves with me in this way. You started thinking in such a way, you started sulking out, you get into tension, and sometimes you started hating the person without any reason. But sometimes it happens that the behavior of the teacher can also reflect on the student. If a teacher is very good, very polite, even she has a command or he has a command on the subject, but they have given you a chance, come on, get up, anybody, ask the doubt. When you are asking the doubt, if they are clarifying the doubt rather than mocking at you, rather than making fun of you, or just, don't you know this one? How silly question you are asking. If they say like that, you obviously never ask the question next time. You never raise the doubt, because you thought better to clarify the doubt with my classmate rather than asking the teacher, because the teacher is insulting me in front of all. This has to be learned by the teachers as well, because the students are like a raw material. We have to mold them, we have to actually hone their all the skills, and we have to polish them to make them a diamond. They are all are the raw materials. We have to train them how to do all these. Remember your school days when you were a small kid, like nursery, LKG, UKG, maybe whichever the class you start getting your memory, you must have remembered that how the teachers used to train you. If you want to go out of the class, you have to ask the teacher, either for water, either for washroom, wherever, whatever you want to go, you would have to get up and ask the teacher. Many times you must have seen the teachers of the lower classes, they continuously repeat to the students. If the student come to them and just showing this sign, that sign, they would say that, repeat after me, may I go to drink water, may I go to washroom, like that. They repeat, and they want the children to repeat again, just to make sure that they would learn this one. And I believe that the teachers, those who are handling the nursery and the pre-primary classes, are supposed to be more patient, more understanding, and more empathetic, sympathetic towards the students. If they love the students, they can make them learn the things in a better way. If the teacher is scolding and just behaving very rudely with the students, they get a fear. Many times you may have heard that the small children don't want to go to the school because they have the fear that that particular teacher would beat them. That's why government has completely taken out the corporal punishment from the curriculum. If anybody is giving a corporal punishment, that is a crime, because you are not supposed to beat the children. You are losing the temper on them. So that is your weakness, your negativity. It's better to handle them with the patience. And it is not only for the nursery and LKG. As you go higher into higher classes, the behavior changes. Sometimes the students also behave very rudely with the teacher. they don't know how to handle or how to talk to the teacher. If a new teacher comes, the students have a habit to just give her the glances, not to try to cooperate with the teacher, and they just want to go and complain with the other teachers. This is not done. The teacher should never listen to the complaint of the other teacher. The student should not get that much guts to complain about the other teacher in front of the another one. Yeah, whatever the complaints you would have to go to the office directly rather than spreading out the rumors and complaining it out, because you will be answerable for every act. Now you are going to be an adult. You are responsible for your acts. You cannot say that I am such a young one, I don't understand, I am such a small child. No, you are not a child. So there are certain things which decides how the teacher can behave with the students and how the teachers can be and how the students can behave with the teachers. So here also he said that he has joined the school where the students were very different, very indifferent students. So I have discussed already this point, polite and understanding. The teacher should be indifferent. Students means they never care about anything. They are just, you can say, the most mischievous and the naughty students in the class. They were very ill-mannered. They don't know how to behave. They don't know even how to talk to the teacher. They create the nuisance in the class, always making the noise and all. There are certain lines of respect which we have to follow and lines of discipline which we have to follow, either wherever we are. I could not talk to you in a way, how could I talk with my friends or at my home? You should also not talk to me in the way how you talk to your relatives, friends or your classmates. You have to keep up my respect, and obviously I'll keep up your respect. In the same way, he said that he found very indifferent and very hostile type of students. Hostile means they have an envious feeling, or you can say jealous feeling, or they don't like, they have the enmity towards the teachers. Because many students have a belief that this teacher, they only beat up, they give the homeworks, they shout at us, they never clarify the doubts, they don't explain properly, they just run away from the class. So that type of the students were there when he joined that school in East London. They were very spoiled, totally spoiled students. They even don't sit properly into the class. Now he has got the task of maintaining that type of the students. As many of the people had a feeling that becoming teacher is an easy task. No, it's not an easy task. If we'll give you a chance to come up on the stage, on the dais here, and then speak out in front of your whole class, very few of you would have the guts to get up and come up here and speak out whatever you feel like that. And that too after a few minutes, or one or minutes or 2 minutes, you just started feeling uneasy and you would ask, shall I go, ma'am? It's over. Okay. And facing so many people, with everybody has a pair of eyes. If 60 students means 120 pairs of eyes are at you, looking at every gesture of you, looking at every action of yours, watching your words very carefully. They are looking at you as in like scanning centers are there. And at those times, the teachers have to have the confidence to handle the situation as well as the students. So how he has handled his students and what are the things he started maintaining among the different type of the students. They are not regular type of like your type of students. They are very indifferent, hostile and very spoiled ones. So how he behaved with them and what he tried his level best, we can continue in the next class. By the time, have a good day and take care.